Ford CEO makes a big announcement, fundamentally changing how cars are sold in the United States. His excuse? EVs. Let's figure out what's really going on with that. We've done a video talking about me flipping a car and making money. I buy 2 new cars. I buy an extra new car of the same model and bought it, paid sales tax on it, and still made 10% profit in like 2 weeks on the car. Crazy. Not supposed to happen. A lot of car dealers have been putting a markup on the MSRP. And that's made a lot of car OEMs, that means manufacturers, really grumpy. They don't want their dealers doing that, but they don't necessarily have control. The car brand, the OEM, the manufacturer, doesn't actually control the pricing that the dealer is selling the car for. In that sense, car manufacturers have kind of been like somewhat of a wholesaler. The big news is that the CEO of Ford, Jim Farley, said point blank, he wants to sell their EVs, their electric vehicles, only online and cut out his dealer network. Ford thinks its distribution model costs $2,000 more per car than Tesla's. Right? If you think back, why do you have dealerships, right? That is a function of the pre-internet era. When you wanted to buy a car in the old days, you wanted to go see it. You wanted to go see the different specs, right? You could see it in a magazine, but you wanted to go see it. You want to go to a dealer, and the dealer someone needs to pay for that inventory, hold it on a lot, showcase it, give you a test drive, maybe, all that kind of stuff, right? So the role of dealers has drastically changed in the US. It's starting to change more slowly internationally in other markets, but the US has really been at the forefront of this. And that's where you've seen now, your modern dealership makes, again, in the US, makes most of their money, their margin on the maintenance and the servicing of the car. And then maybe used cars, but that's very variable. Ford coming out and saying, hey, we want to cut out our dealers and sell direct is such a big deal. It's hard to overstate it. If you remember back to Tesla, it was the big car manufacturers who were complaining because there's certain states that actually have laws. I think like Connecticut might be one of those, because I remember a Tesla showroom having to shut down, saying that you have to sell cars through a dealership model. So Tesla's run into a lot of friction and to sell cars basically directly on a website, have selective showrooms in malls and that kind of stuff. Car manufacturers, the car dealers, and then their lobbyists and the government officials that get money from the traditional car industry have all been adamant that no, they cannot do that. That's very inappropriate. But this is a big deal. We've got to go to non-negotiated price. We've got to go to 100% online. There's no inventory at dealerships. It goes directly to the customer. And 100% remote pickup and delivery. Wow. By the way, we called this. Kirk, where's that video? We called this. We said that these dealers taking advantage of consumers. You heard rumblings from the car manufacturers saying, don't do that. Don't put markups on. And they did it anyway. We called this. We said this was going to happen. We said this is only going to give more ammunition and more firepower to accelerate car manufacturers wanting to cut out their dealers. They want to centralize things. They want to retain the customer relationship after the point of sale of the car. They want to have a closed loop. That's what Tesla's done. You also have to understand on these EVs, there's just less moving parts. So there's less mechanical issues, which means less parts replacement, less servicing costs, less maintenance costs, etc. So it's a very different business model in general when you go to EV. But on top of that, if you get these big OEMs to also at the same time use this shift to EV to do away with the traditional dealer distribution model, wow, this is honestly earth-shattering stuff in the automotive industry. I honestly haven't seen enough coverage of this. You know, if you go to CNBC's transportation section, this news just came out yesterday. It's not even on the first fold here. Talk about GM's Chevy Bolt stuff. It's in the bottom left corner. Ford CEO expects industry consolidation as costs of EV transition rise. Doesn't even mention it. And then in that article, buried in the bottom of the article, do they mention, oh yeah, by the way, CEO of Ford said he wants to cut out all of his dealerships from selling EVs. Like, what? If you like this video about Ford and the changing dynamic with dealers, go check out the video where we announced our transaction with one of our clients, Massey, investing in a car marketplace called Curbo. Massey is one of the largest car dealers in Latin America. This is a great example of what car dealers should be doing, is investing in new digital business models like Massey and Curbo. Full disclosure, we also invested in Curbo, so we really like the deal. Go check that out.